Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Benjamin and welcome back to this channel. Today, I want to talk about the dreaded private pilot written exam. Every student hates it. Every student is scared about it, myself included. Everybody's CFI is like, hey, get this out of the way as soon as possible. But the most interesting thing about this test is that it's the first actual sort of assessment in regards to getting your private pilot license. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I got a 85%, as you can see right here, on this test after studying for it for just 2 weeks. Now, for those that don't know, the way to actually get the endorsement is you have to go through some sort of ground school. For me, I went Sporties, and at the end, you take some practice tests and hopefully you pass it and then you get this endorsement. But then from there, you actually have to schedule it. So I'm gonna walk you through all that to actually get it done. So with that said, let's jump over to the vlog. You're gonna see me before taking the test, after taking the test, walking through that process, and then I will share with you exactly what I did step by step that actually helped me get this done out of the way.
A few moments later.
Gotta go.
It was terrible. I got an 85 though, so I'm happy about that.
Nice,
I
bro.
told you I would be happy if I just, going in, I was like, dude, if I just pass, I'm happy. If I get an 85, I'll be ecstatic. That's what I've been telling myself all week. So
Let's go.
I got an
dude.
85, so I'm very, very happy.
Good job, man. Let's
gosh,
go.
dude. It was terrible. I hated it.
How was it?
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Really?
Like some of the questions were very, very similar, but there were questions where I haven't seen before, but they were just like common sense questions. I know, so the way it works is like they give you codes at the end so you can see like what you missed. I have zero desire to look at this right now. I'll look at it later. But yeah, first test is done. The next ones should be done. I'm glad I never have to take a written exam ever again, because
awesome.
it is a great way to start my my Saturday. I mean, you go in and it's like cold. It's like a proper office building.
Really?
Right? And I'm looking around like, shit, where's the place? And you go in, it's just dead silent. There's this lady at the front. She's like, hey, give me your ID, give me your endorsements, give me all that. And then she's like, cool, take your stuff and walk in a bag. So there's a bag with a key that you have to put all your stuff in. I was like, what the hell? This is crazy. Wow. And then you know, they're setting you up, and then you have to go through all these, like, acknowledge these terms and conditions. You have to go through like 3 pages. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
And then I start taking the test, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm starting writing down like, some of the acronyms and just memory and things that I struggled with that I was studying earlier this morning on the scratch sheet of paper. And I was like, okay, cool, like, we're good. And then I start taking the test. I run some questions like, fuck, I don't know this. And then I'm calculating. I'm like, okay, well, I technically just need to get 40 questions right, 45 out of 65 questions just to pass. If we do the math, I think I missed, if there was 65 questions and I got an 85%, that means I got 3, 6, 7, 8. What is 65 minus 8 divided by 65? Yeah, so I basically got 8 questions wrong out of 65, which I don't think is bad at all.
No, that's great.
I'm just happy I passed. I don't have to worry about this shit ever again.
That means you're when you go to do your like 6-hour test, it probably won't be too bad.
It will not. No. I'm very happy with this. I'm ecstatic. I am surprised that it only took me 2 weeks, and I'm glad that I got it done. So this was my big goal for this week. I mean, it's all I've been studying about. So,
dude, I like how you were so freaked out about it, and you literally got out in like an hour.
Bro.
Like, it said an hour and 50 minutes for the test, and you got out in like an hour.
Dude, when I finished, a kid right before me also finished. So he got his test scores. He got an 82. I was like, okay, well, you know, he looks like a smart kid. I'm like, oh shit. And then this lady's just taking forever. She's like, so this kid had like 2. He printed another one. I thought that was for me. She's like, oh no, that's not for you. I was like, fuck. And then I'm waiting like 5 minutes here, just stressing out. Like, oh, and then she pulls it up on her computer. I was like, please tell me I passed. She's like, yeah, you passed. I was like,
nice.
Thank you. And I look at her screen, I see an 85. I'm like, hopefully that's mine. She hands me this paper, and I'm like, done. Great. I'm out of here.
Dude, that's so awesome.
But yeah, now I can go home and prep.
What was like the toughest question on that?
I don't even know, bro. There was the toughest question. So the way the test that I got, the batch of questions were pretty good. It wasn't, is it hard? it's just like, did I know it or did I not?
Right.
Like, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have to pull out your, what was it, your...
My stuff? No.
Yeah.
I didn't have to touch it at all.
Gotcha.
So as you can see, I passed the test. I transparently going into it, I'm like, if I can just get an 80% on the score, I will be the happiest person in the world. I went in and I got an 85%, as you saw, and very, very happy about that. So I'm gonna share with you, and I have my notes here of what I did, how I studied, how I actually passed the test, and some tips and notes that I would like to share with people that are about to or going to take this test. The first thing that I would recommend is to have a deadline. And here's my story behind this. I have been enrolled in Sporties for over a year, and I completed the ground school in like a weekend, just 8 hours a day for 3 days, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just get it out of the way, right? And then I started to take the practice test, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting like low 70s, and I'm like, this is not good, right? Because the rule of thumb for people taking the test is that whatever you get on the practice exams, -5, -10%, and that's pretty much what you're gonna get on the actual exam. Fortunately for me, that wasn't really the case. I got pretty much the same scores because going into the test, I was scoring like mid 80s, low 90s. And obviously that carried over to my actual exam results, right? So the first thing I would recommend is obviously complete the ground school and actually study it. Like try to understand the ground school. The mistake that I made is I just try to rush through it. But when it comes to actually taking the practice test, and I'll walk you through what I did, actually try to pattern recognize the answers, but also understanding the concepts, understanding the terms, the definitions, why that is actually the answer. Because on the actual test, they might have variations of the same question, right? They'll just use a different number or something. That way they don't get you for pattern recognition, if you would, right? So what I did is set a deadline to it, right? I would recommend 3 to 4 weeks out because that adds pressure to actually study for it, show up for it, and get it out of the way as soon as possible. For me, I scheduled it in 2 weeks out because I just wanted to get it done, get it out of the way. It was just eating up so much. And as of taking this test, I was actually about 90 hours into my private pilot, and I'm pretty much about to enter check ride prep mode, right? I completed my 3-pointer cross country, 150 nautical miles the same day, fortunately. And I was like, okay, well, I need to get this thing done out of the way. That way I can enter check ride prep, right? That's the first tip. The second tip is time block an hour to an hour and a half daily on your schedule to actually study for it and commit to it. For me, as opposed to trying to cram 4 or 5 hours the day before, what I found worked really, really well for me is I would have an hour and a half block, a 90-minute block at the end of every day or just somewhere throughout my day, 7 days a week, to go out and actually study and complete practice exams, practice test questions. And the way the process that I did that worked really well for me is this. In Sporties, which is the ground school that I use, I started with a Smart Studies study session. So you go in there, you click, just random questions across all the categories. And I would start off at around 15 to 30 questions as a warm-up, right? It was just getting me in the mood to start to actually take the test, right? The practice test at least. So I would do about 15 to 30 questions of those. I would buzz through them relatively quick, 5-10 minutes. And then I would review the questions that I got wrong on that Smart Study session. And then from there, I would go out and take an actual practice test on Sporties. So that thing's 60 question long. I think you have like 2 hours to do it. Typically for me, it took me 30 minutes. And then I would go through that and just go through the entire thing, get to the end and study the wrong answers. And if there was a point in the entire test where I didn't understand something, I would just pause on that question. I'd open an AI browser like ChatGPT or Claude, and I would tell and prompt the AI to explain to me and guide me to the correct answer. I wouldn't ask it for the answer. I would just say, hey, guide me to the answer. What does this mean? What does this mean? What is a stratus cloud? What does this mean? What does that mean? Etc. Hopefully you make sense. And I use that as a way to get feedback quicker and learn quicker. Now, not everything is accurate, but I just more so want to learn why that answer is the case to help me bring me closer to that answer. So as opposed to just pattern recognizing everything, I sort of understand what's actually going on, right? So, and then from there, I would just consistently do that day in and day out. I mean, I'm gonna throw up my my review session results up here, but in the beginning, I was not getting the best scores. I was getting like 60s, maybe even 70s, etc. But then eventually, as you continue to take more of these tests, you start to see why the answers are the right answers, and you start to actually understand the concepts, which is really important when it comes to aviation. The performance that you do on these tests get a lot better, right? Another thing in regards to that, I would have analogies, and understanding the analogies helps really, really well for answering some of these questions. So for example, one of the concepts that I struggled with was magnetic variation, right? So it was like in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're on a north heading and you turn right, you know, what happens to the compass or the magnetic heading indicator, right? And the analogy for that is like, I was always mixing up ands. So I think it's accelerate north, decelerate south, and then unos, which is undershoot north and overshoot south, right? I was always mixing those up, but understanding that, okay, cool, if the verb in the question says acceleration, you should probably use and, because it says accelerate north, decelerate south. That's a perfect example, right? So having analogies, having AI explain it to you like a third grader helps a lot when it comes to studying for these tests. The final thing is staying consistent and showing up. Going back to exactly what I just said of just finding that hour and a half every single day and just sticking to it. The goal is to get it done as soon as humanly possible. And I promise you, when you go in and you take that test, I mean, I was so nervous for the test. It's in some old office building. It's at a PSI testing center. You have to take all of your belongings, your watch. They have to check your E6 speed, your plotter. I didn't use any of that on the test. For me, maybe I got a lucky batch of questions. And then you lock in a bag, and there is a lock on the bag, on the zipper. It was crazy. They wand you down, so they got like a metal detector, and they start wanding you down as if you're at the airport to make sure you have nothing on you. And then you go into a room, there's a few other people, there's like blinders, you got pencil, you got scratch paper, you got the test supplement, and you have to go through all of these acknowledgements like, hey, you agree to terms of service, you agree that you're not gonna take these answers and share it online or anything like that, or else you're gonna get in trouble. And obviously I'm not doing that. For me, that's what the test was like. Normally they say it's 60 questions, but for me, I got 65 questions. I got to the point where I knew like each question was like 2.5 points or 2 points or something like that. But I'm glad that I got this done. And the unfortunate thing is that you don't actually get the score when you finish the test. You have to complete a survey. At least I had to complete a survey. And it's just asked like, hey, how's the experience, yada, yada, yada. And then you get out, you tell the lady, and then she has to print it out for you and then tell you. And that was driving me insane because I'm like, I just hope I passed. But when I got out, there was another kid who finished the test right before me. And he, as a matter of fact, took 2 tests at the same time. I was like, damn, what is this guy trying to do to himself? So we had to wait for him to finish his things. And I'm in line, my heart's beating like crazy. And I finally come up and I was like, hey, please just tell me I passed. And she was like, you passed. And I'm like, thank you. But yeah, that's what the test was like. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. The beautiful thing is moving forwards, getting my instrument, getting my commercial rating and any other type ratings in the future. Most of them should have Shepherd Air where it's more pattern recognition. But my advice for somebody that is watching this right now, just get it out of the way. It feels really good. I mean, I remember that weekend or this past weekend, not having to take these tests anymore, and it feels really, really, really good. For those that don't know, I'm not a flight student full time. I run a marketing agency that I've been doing since I was 15. This is more of a passion and a dream of mine. So obviously I don't have all the time in the day to go read the FAQ or study the FAR AIM cover to cover. So that's what I got for this. It's really simple. No matter how hard you try and go and read Reddit forums on where the test questions are, you just have to study, and there's no way around it, right? When I started my flight training at least 2 years ago, where I was really on and off, I told myself that I was never gonna do groundwork and I was still gonna get my license. It hasn't worked. I'm 90 hours in and I'm not even done with my private pilots yet. And I know some people say that like, hey, you know, average is like, can go up to like 100, 120 hours. But obviously I wanna get this done as soon as possible, create more videos and, you know, share and inspire others, other aviators if you would. So if you are a flight student right now and you know that you need to be doing sporties tests, you should probably go get it done. It's for your own good. And what I've realized when it comes to flight training is that a lot of the laws and things that we hate about flying, they're there for a reason, right? Like weather, maintenance, studying for this thing, or ground knowledge. They're all for a good reason, right? Because at the end of the day, once you're in a plane, it's life or death. And by then it's too late. And I feel like everything here is preparing you for that, right? Another mindset shift that I'd like to share that has helped me really well on this test or studying for this test is that don't focus on just trying to go in and get an 100% right off the bat. Just focus on getting progress on the practice test. If you're making progress on the practice test, you are doing well. If you're showing up every single day, taking the test, learning something, you are going to do well on the actual test. I promise, that is my promise to you. So no matter how hard it is, it makes it worth it. And it feels really, really good being able to share this video and knowing that I passed, because now my check ride is not gonna be that terrible, because 85 seems to be a standard score. Because I remember last week watching other people talk about how to pass. I know it's very similar advice. Hopefully having the smart study, using AI, having the practice test every single day helps. And if you guys watch this and it passed and you come back and you comment, it would mean the absolute world to me, knowing that I helped you get closer to your dreams. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoy the vlog and I will see you in the skies.